So, some of you guys are undoubtedly aware that I have been hanging out in the comment section for the past 2 or 3 days. I've been kind of regularly hanging out there, trying to get back to some of you guys. I remembered this special little thing that shows up on some users' profiles. I curiously hovered over it because years ago I discovered this feature that shows if you guys have your settings to where you're sharing that information. It tells me how long someone has been subscribed to me for. And I'm going to give you an example. So, for instance, Art Student 13 has that little red circle with the play button on it. If I hover over it, it goes publicly subscribed to you 4 years, allows everyone to see their subscriptions. That is one cool thing that I like to look at once in a while. And I thought that I would share with you guys and give you guys a shout out based off that, if you're sharing that already. Because I want you guys to know that I reflect a lot on the inputs that you guys leave, especially if I have already replied to you and I take my time giving you a long, elaborated, proper Zam style reply. Some of you guys have really brought out in me that sense of wonder that I was describing some days ago from one of the cards. And I love it when I get to write to someone and I say those things. Even if I don't know you and I probably never will meet you, it takes me back to a time when I used to have, I guess you could call them digital pen pals. I used to have friends that I would email the crap out of over 10 years ago. And that is probably where my typing skills really became as sharp as they got. I could write some very long emails back in the day. I like to converse with people in written form as I would verbally. The comments, given that this is my journal, that I'm opening the door to other people to have thoughts on, I think it's really nice to see that some of you have really hung out for such a long time. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I don't take that for granted. Those of you who are absolute regulars, and then those of you who I know are subscribed, but maybe you disappear for a while because maybe the algorithm is not feeding me to you or something like that. No offense here, but it's just great to see that I recognize a lot of you, especially if you haven't changed your name or picture. I remember saying this in a stream a long time ago, but it's so nice to see that you guys have still stuck there with me and we have gotten through so much together. I'm the creator, sure, so you know more about me than I know or may remember about you, singling you out. But it's just so cool to see that some of you have really lingered and that I have been able to take some of your ideas and do something with them. Something that I felt was fulfilling, especially during a time that I needed it so much. So anyways, after rambling like that, so you know where I'm coming from with this random video, I'm going to scroll and see who else has that red button thing. And I'm going to call you out just because. So, Young Sly 4516, I feel like I remember you, but I kind of don't. Your button tells me that you've been subscribed for 6 years, meaning that you must be from like the 2018-ish generation of folks who subbed to me. And I remember those days. My days kind of feel the same here on the platform because my pattern has never changed. Like, I still go to work, I still drive home, I really don't go anywhere, I don't travel, I still do food reviews, I still have Dusty. Dusty arrived about 2 years after I started the channel. And I think when I started the channel, I had my Black Cat Nero for about another year. After that, I went about a year without a pet. And then that's when eventually we got Dusty. Raw Iosphere. I know I butchered that. I also recognize you from Twitter, and you've been subscribed for 6 years. And I totally remember you because you've had the same picture this entire time. And that's what I was saying, you guys. You guys have a right to update your profiles and do whatever you need to do. But unfortunately for me, as the manager of this page, and occasionally I get an influx of comments, if you change your name and picture, I may forget who you are, because it's just kind of hard to remember who's who. There's really no distinguishing features on profiles like this. Solitude 633. You have been subscribed for 2 years, and I kind of remember you when you were newer to the channel. I think you left me a really, really, really good message, a really good comment one time. But I wish I remembered what it was on. I just know it was one of those topics that's like more on the sensitive side, I guess. Something that I felt personally edified me. But it's been a while. I don't remember very well. But it's nice to see that. Lafayette 014 has been subscribed for 6 years. And I totally remember that. I also feel like I recognize that picture too. Some of you guys have similar looking photos. I know that there's someone called Red Miko who also has like a red picture profile. And sometimes I mistake you guys. But Red Miko, I feel like, is missing in action most of the time. Just like Magismo. I haven't seen Magismo for a while, but I know he goes way back. World of Real Men 8662 has been subbed for a year, so we haven't had quite the same length in our journey, but still a good contributor nonetheless. And then I wish I had a way to divide this up to where it shows me users that have the public subscription setting on. But I'm not lazy. I don't mind digging. Maura Obson, 1880, has been publicly subbed for 5 years. I totally don't remember you very well. I am sorry. The most recent comment I have from you is when I was expressing that I was sick. I think that was when I was on my days a month ago, and you were asking me if CBD doesn't work for me, and I'm like, I have never tried it and I would never consider it. Teacher 101, I remember you from a while back. Yeah, you have been publicly subbed for 5 years. Yep, I totally remember you. This kind of feels like thumbing through the pages of a yearbook and you see people's signatures. But this is a digital version of that. Let's see. I'm hoping to find maybe 2 more. And after that, I think I'm really not gonna find that many more. I think an honorable mention would be Holger Dansk. You know who you are. This is undoubtedly a new profile for you. I remember that much. You originally had a different picture. The name was about the same, but I think you had numbers in it. And you're definitely from the squad of like 2017-ish, maybe. So yeah, you're definitely one of the, I could say, relative OGs around here. And then you had to go dormant for a while because you were not feeling so well. I wish I remembered my first 100 subscribers. Like, I remember that it happened, of course, but I don't remember any names from back then. I think my first 100 people arrived toward the end of 2016. Nah, I think that's when I was like at 32 for a long time. Maybe it was more early 2017 that I got my first 100. Maybe there's a way to access that info, but I would be very, very curious to know. One day I'm going to go back to older comments that I replied to see if I got a reply to my reply. I remember this one guy back in 2018-ish. We were having a really lengthy and good discussion. I think he said he was from Sweden, and I think it was a political discussion about the political system of our respective countries, USA versus Sweden. And I don't know why, but somehow it turned into we were agreeing but disagreeing, but mostly agreeing. But I just had, I guess, like a really critical way of saying it. And I feel bad because around that time, YouTube did this crazy update to the app. And that's when I started struggling finding comments, because comments began to display as a thread as opposed to a notification. Like, say, kind of like a text message. If you send me a text right now, then the freshest text is going to be the first one to appear. Well, when you thread things up, threading tends to put you on a hold based off the original comment's time. So if I'm replying to you under a comment that you posted, say 6 years ago, I have to scroll back in time 6 years to then expand your thread and see that you left a new reply. And then after that happened, that's when I started losing touch with people. And that's when I kind of became frustrated and told myself, I don't have time to be hunting down people. Well, you guys, I'm not finding anybody else coming up with that data about how long you've been subbed. But those of you who I just called out feel special because you're sharing your data like that with me and everybody on the platform. And then the rest of you who are secretly subbed to me but you're not sharing how long you've been subbed for, I don't want you to feel unappreciated or invisible. I acknowledge you and thank you as well for hanging out, either challenging me or supporting me in whatever ways you have. I am not going anywhere anytime soon, so if you like what I do here, you can count on me continuing to do what I do. Well, there you guys have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed me doing this kind of out of the blue, and I'll see you soon.